Good morning, everyone. So, this month, our theme is the mundane, the sacred, the profane. Oh my. Our topic today is the mundane sigh. Herein lies lost opportunities. So, I'm going to dive into the teaching today. I absolutely believe that really diving into the teaching and getting clear on its principles and its tools is what is empowering us to live the life that we choose to live. Whenever we have a hiccup because we're not clear, because we haven't practiced, because we're allowing some wrong thinking to interfere with the truth of who we are, then we have a challenge. Then we have a problem that needs to be corrected or remedied. So I've been listening and hearing and recognizing and reading things within our teaching that to me is calling for or begging for us to revisit the teaching and become more grounded in it, to become more clear. And so, in discussing this topic this morning, if you will, bear with me, that's what I'm going to do. So, what's the difference between the mundane, the sacred, and the profane? Really? Our judgment, our assessment, the value that we give to something. For each of us, what we hold sacred is different, as well as what we perceive as profane. For some of us, cursing may be okay. For others of us, that may just not be a cool thing. The sacred generally refers to the divine or what we consider to be godly, what we consider to be spiritual. The profane is generally considered less than or anything but godly. And the truth is, unless we're bored, we don't really consider the mundane too much, but we will today. I want to clarify, though, that the profane is not devoid of spirit. Nothing is. However, it may be devoid of awareness of and connection with spirit. It may be mired in energies that negate or deny spirit. Let's consider this. When spirit leaves the human body, the body begins to disintegrate and loses its form. Its resemblance of the divine is lost because the presence, that life force that animates, sustains, and maintains it is gone. So, spirit, God, is the absolute, and humans are relative within the absolute as form. Are we spiritual beings? Yes. Is God within us? Yes. But we are not the absolute. And the consideration of the relative and the absolute in our teaching is a really important aspect of our teaching that helps to make things clear for us. So I'm going to read a little bit from the Complete Science of Mind. This is a textbook that I actually believe Reverend Joel did this edition that compiles all the different teachings of Ernest Holmes, the original textbook, the current textbook, and a few other things. So on page 106 in the Complete Science of Mind textbook, it says the absolute is cause, the relative is effect. The absolute depends upon itself being self-existent. The relative must depend upon the absolute. Absolute is defined as free from restrictions, unlimited on conditions, the unlimited and perfect being God. Relativity is defined as existence only as an object of or in relation to a thinking mind, a condition of dependence. I think that the absolute and the relative is becoming kind of confused in our teaching, or let's say that it's not clear. As I hear people talk, I just notice, if I may, that sometimes we're not clear about them. And I think that it is really important that we are clear about the difference between the absolute and the relative as we go throughout our everyday lives and call upon the tools, the principles in our teaching that are going to assist us and empower us, the tools and principles that we want to live from and live by. And so I think it's really important. So relativity is that depends upon something else. And it's not a thing in itself, but it functions within the absolute and depends upon the absolute. But we want to affirm relativity without negating or destroying absoluteness. One is part of the other. The absolute is what we call cause, first cause, and the relative is that effect. So in looking at this, we want to have a clarity as we go through our everyday lives so that we can really utilize it. So the sacred is God, connected with God, an aspect of part of God. The mundane, our dictionary tells us, is lacking interest or excitement, is dull, is boring, it's repetitive, is day-to-day earthly, non-spiritual living. The profane, however, there's almost a little book on it in the dictionary. There are 3 different definitions or aspects of the definitions, 3 different parts of the definitions of the profane. The profane is secular, it's lay, it's non-religious, it's worldly, it's unsanctified, it's unhallowed, it's irreverent, it's ungodly, it's disrespectful, it's unbelieving, it's sacrilegious, it's obscene, it's blasphemous, it's foul, it's vulgar, it's crude, it's dirty, it's not okay. All right, now, did you notice that there's judgment involved in the description of the definition of what is profane? That said, discernment, which is necessary, is not judgmental. It's not making something or someone wrong or putting it down, but discernment is critical. It is a critical aspect of our living. So in my estimation, the profane appears to express less of the divine qualities and attributes like love, beauty, wholeness, balance, harmony. But we're not discussing the profane today. We're discussing the mundane. That discussion of the profane is coming. But I thought it was important to put things in perspective. It's all God, Spirit, the presence creator, that is cause, the sacred, the mundane, and the profane, because without spirit, there is no form. So there are varying degrees, varying levels of expression, but it's all spirit. Now, it's all spirit, but it's not expressing in its full out godliness necessarily. But I would offer to you that each has its place and its purpose. So today we're going to discuss the mundane, that whole boring, repetitive, unconscious day-to-day stuff that we do, those experiences of life that we often judge as having little value other than the fact that it includes things that we just need to get done to live. So things that we need to do for survival's sake, or to at least have a decent standard of living. We need to cook food, we need to wash the dishes, we need to clean the bathroom, we need to get dressed, we need to commute to work or to your home office, also known as the couch, very often. We need to shop for food. We watch TV. As the expression goes, chop wood and carry water. The mindless stuff of daily life. That is the mundane that we're referring to. And I want to offer to you that within the mundane lies lost opportunities. We tend to be disconnected and unconscious and unaware of ourselves and life in the midst of the mundane, because we often feel these necessary everyday things are boring and unimportant, just something for us to get done, for us to get through. It's really easy to go on autopilot and to lose focus and to not pay attention when we're doing these things. But there are so many opportunities within the mundane to impact or influence our awareness, to make conscious choice, to impact our attitude, our feelings, to move or live from a place of non-judgment, to have creative use of our faculties and our spirit within what we call the mundane. I would suggest that there are opportunities for us within the mundane to practice the presence, or at least contemplate it, to observe, to invoke peace, to learn from what we're experiencing, to affirm, to find things to be grateful for, to listen for guidance, to invite spirit to express through chopping wood and carrying water. While we're going through our mundane experiences, which is a part of our daily lives, we can do a number of practices to connect with spirit. Imagination is one of my favorites. So while we're doing something mundane like washing clothes or washing the dishes or preparing food or sorting clothes, whatever it is, while we're doing that, there's a wonderful opportunity there to imagine and call forth the experience of something that we really want in our lives. So there are many times, as long as we're not driving or using a saw or a knife, something we have to be in present consciousness for. There are opportunities for us to use our imagination and see things. And so when I'm washing dishes, I can easily imagine myself walking along a beautiful beach, or I can imagine myself meeting a gorgeous man who's absolutely perfect for me. I can imagine myself building a home, which we're going to talk about in just a little bit. Whatever it is that you choose, there are so many opportunities. Rather than just disconnecting and going on automatic and going through those mundane things, there are so many opportunities to utilize that time and experience or express or call forth the sacred in those times. And so there are opportunities that just allow us to utilize the teaching and create more of what it is we would like. So I want to give you an example, because I am really interested in and impressed by architects. I've always been fascinated by the fact that architects take space, empty space, and they create a home or some kind of building within that empty space. And it could be a ranch, a cape, a farmhouse, some kind of Tudor home or Victorian. There are different ones that we are aware of and that in our country we use and we live in that are our regular norm go to. And then you have those architects that create things out of the box, like the container homes, or like Frank Lloyd Wright did, homes that become part of the environment. But I've always been fascinated by it because architects do the same thing that spirit does: create form out of nothingness. And you see, the thing is that in creating form, in the physical, manifesting in the physical, the first thing that happens is that there are boundaries that are set. They can be wide boundaries or narrow boundaries, but there are boundaries that are set. And within those boundaries, when an architect builds a home, those boundaries create the foundation. And what that foundation is built on is really important because it can be built on something hard and strong and sustainable, or it can be built on something wistful that won't be sustained. But it's important. And from that foundation, then the rest of the home expands and it is built. The quality of it, the usefulness of it, and how long it lasts is based on the foundation, which is why I say to you that we must return to our fundamental foundations and principles in this teaching if we really want to live the life that we choose to live, to build the life that we choose to have, so that when we close our eyes, we are fulfilled and we are at peace. And so in talking about the mundane and living from that place where we just kind of do things that we've decided are not important, I think it's really helpful and important and empowering if we re-examine that and understand that there is sacred, that spirit God is really within all things. Now, here's the key: to practice that, not to just know it intellectually, but to practice that so it becomes part of our living. So, the expression chop wood, carry water comes from an old, I believe it's Buddhist expression, which is before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. But what's the difference? The difference is after enlightenment, within that enlightenment, we now have the awareness, the understanding of our divinity and our connection with spirit. It's not just a fleeting glimpse, although that's generally what happens for most of us in the way it starts, but it is what word do I want to use? An absorption within that awareness. It is a true realization or expression of our consciousness. And one way that we can get there is to be aware of and practice the presence within the mundane. And so this teaching and utilizing this teaching has been proven. I mentioned this before. Originally, this teaching was named the science of mind because it is a science, meaning you can test it and prove it. but it is also a practice. And the way that you develop skills and become good at something is through practice. So again, seeing the absolute spirit in the mundane is a powerful way to allow ourselves to be immersed in and to be aware of, and to have that consciousness and that awareness become more often what we experience than not. To be more than a glimpse that only happens sometimes when we have a revelation or when we're sitting in meditation. So the mundane becomes an opportunity for us to really grow within our awareness and our experience, to grow our consciousness in being part of spirit and being part of the absolute. So I wrote a little thing that just came to me that I want to share with you if I can find it. Give me 1 second, I apologize. While washing dishes, I noticed that the water was soft and felt good. It fell from the faucet without alarm. It dove into the sudsy water below and created a dance-like splash. It swirled in the dish at the bottom, releasing the leftover curry sauce, dissolving the residue of dinner. It partnered with the suds to clean my dishes and joyfully gurgled and swirled down the drain when we were finished. On to a different journey I would not be privileged to witness. Lights out, done with the mundane for today. There are many definitions of enlightenment, of consciousness, of awareness. For me, enlightenment is the awareness of the divine, of the interconnectivity of life, practicing the presence moment by moment until the awareness of it, the experience of it, our connection with it is constant. Let's take this into treatment. So what I know is that there is a power and presence that is the very essence, the very energy, the very spark of life. It is that which creates and expresses in and through and as all of life. It is everywhere, evenly present. It is all that is. It is creative cause, first cause. It is that divine expression, that divine unfolding that creates form, endless, multiple forms out of nothing, each with a purpose, each with a unique quality or qualities, each with expressions that allow this experience of life to unfold. This creative intelligence, this essence, this energy expresses in and through and as all of life, and it expresses in and through and as me. What I know is the quality of my life is determined by my awareness, my understanding of this essence, of this presence, and my ability to utilize the divine spiritual laws that it has put in place for me. What I know and what I affirm is that this essence, this presence, this energy is everything that is good, is everything that is wonderful. It is the beauty, the harmony, the peace, the joy, the love, the wholeness, the perfection, the balance, the ability to express and move forward. It is the very substance and essence of life, and it is all available to me. And so I affirm with this word that this presence, this intelligence, this energy expresses uniquely and individually by means of each one of us, gifting each one of us with this thing called life, with the ability to experience and to express the wonderfulness, the awesomeness that it is. It has given us the choice to allow us to have exactly what we choose, exactly what we desire. And it is always constantly available to us to renew, to change, to expand, to grow, to uplift. This divine power and presence that I call God expresses in that which seems, which can be judged as so small and insignificant, which can be judged as bad or wrong, or that which can be judged as divine. Because the truth is, it is all God. So within it, no matter the condition, lies the opportunity to change, to grow, to expand. Because as the textbook says, change is simply God in motion. And so I affirm with this word that each one of us has a deeper clarity, a deeper awareness, a deeper ability to allow the power and presence of God to express day in, day out, no matter what, expanding our consciousness, expanding our understanding, expanding our ability to use this power and presence to create the lives that we choose to live. This is an incredible, magnificent, wonderful experience, wonderful gift called life that I simply say, thank you, thank you, thank you for. And so I release this word into the law, knowing that it is the truth, it is done, and it is the power and presence that I call God that makes it so. Please close with me. And so it is.